back to Witchfix. Today we're looking at this enormous box arrived today from the Culverstone Witch, which is another small like indie company box which arrived today. These are shipped out on the first Wednesday of the month, which was the 7th, and I got it today, the 10th. So I can already say it arrived real fast. So it arrived really fast. And there's no like outside branding, so I was really confused when it came because I was like, oh, I haven't ordered anything that would come in a box this big. But the smell of lavender quickly clued me into the fact that it was a witch box. And here it is. So this one was £26.99 and promises on its website a £45 value to the contents. It also says that it will contain between 10 and 20 items, so I think it can go up or down depending on the value of each item. So starting out on the top, there's quite a large box within this box. Oh, okay. So this box has nothing on it except a barcode. So look in here. It appears to be some sort of ceramic. Really well packaged. There's a lot of bubble wrap on here. Okay, this is enormous, but it appears to be, I think, some sort of fireproof dish. It's made of like terracotta. It looks hand painted with this same symbol repeated around it, a yellow circle inside. Kind of similar to something that you would put sage sticks into after you'd burnt them, with these 3 little legs on the bottom. Maybe you could burn incense in here. I'm not sure what that is, or like if it has a specific use, but we'll see if there's any information about that further down in the box. Altarware was one of the things that it said that you might get on their website, so that's exciting. Next up is this little pouch which contains a necklace. It's one of these little crystal points on an itty bitty silver metal chain. It's not silver metal, it is silver, or at least silver plated, because it's stamped 925 on the clasp. And then we have a little green crystal pendant there. I like the chain length. I like that it's actually silver or silver plated, and so won't go like dull, the way like steel chains and that can sometimes. Motorbike. I don't know what kind of crystal this is. I'm gonna say maybe like a green aventurine, but we'll see. Okay, next up we have a pin in another little baggie. And this is, oh okay, a cute little book, and it says "Let's Conjure" on it. A little pentagram up the top, which is really sweet. I like the font of that. It's got one of these little stabby pin backs. I don't tend to use these pins on a lot of stuff, but that one is sweet. Then we have another little bag. This appears to be some sort of kit. So we've got a Peace and Serenity blend in one bag, a Balance blend in this bag, and then this one contains Happiness bath salt. So it's a little bit like cocaine. So maybe there'll be some instructions about what to do with these later in the box. One of these is an incense and one of these is a herb blend. So I'm guessing this is part of a ritual, because they were all packaged together. We'll see what that's all about. So many peanuts. Okay, I've got a wrapped thing. It says blue sage on the sticker, so I'm assuming this is some sort of like smoke cleansing stick. Just from the feel of it. So that's a blue sage, which I don't know about the lore on that, if it's the same as white sage. It does look different, but I don't know again what that's to do with in terms of like cultural appropriation and traditional practices, but it is a pretty good size one. Just looking at his upper right, I'll have to Google blue sage later. It does have a very different smell to white sage, because those like sticks tend to smell like that kind of classic BO smell that I think anyone who's ever burnt them knows. But this one has like a more pungent kind of florally cologne smell. Okay, I have located some more items. This is just a package done up with string that says red. I'm guessing they're spell candles from the feel of it. I do like all the recycled packaging. That kind of reminds me of the like Honey in the Moon box, of like the string and the brown paper and stuff. Woo! Okay, and here we have a set of 6 red spell candles. They're red all the way through, which is quite nice. That they're not just like kind of red over white. Maybe we have some instructions on what to do with those, or maybe it's just, you know, so that you have red spell candles if you need them. Okay, then we have a little envelope which is sealed up. So okay, that is a little thank you for your purchase, love and light from the Culverstone Witch. Like there's their logo. There it is, slightly bigger. I just found them by Googling and I was like, oh cool, a UK based box I've never heard of before, so there we go. Okay, we have these 2 little pieces of instructions. So it says incense blend. The incense blend mix is best to use when put on a charcoal disc. Add a small pinch to the already lit disc. So that just tells you how to use incense, not what that specific incense is for. Herb blend. The herb blend can be used to make charm bags, witch bottles and incense blends. It can also be used in many forms of herb magic. So again, nothing specific on how to use them, but obviously they are labelled with what they mean. So you've got the balance herb blend and peace and serenity incense. So obviously that's what they're used for. And then at the bottom we have this box, and I think that might be it in terms of contents. Woo. Yep, just a lot of polystyrene beans, or those potato starch ones. Unclear. Aha, okay, so this appears to be some sort of kit, as opposed to, I guess, this bag, which isn't a kit. So we have here little baggies of cinnamon bark, dried basil, dried lavender, thyme, and hemp seed, which is a bit more unusual. Like, I don't think I've ever had hemp seed in a box before, whereas you tend to get quite a lot of like lavender and cinnamon and stuff like that. So that's quite cool and interesting. And then we have a little piece of paper with them, which says, okay, so this is just a list of like what you can use different herbs for. So we have lavender for chastity, happiness, anti-anxiety, peace and sleep. Basil for exorcism, protection and wealth. Cinnamon for abundance, healing, lust and power. Thyme, that's thyme, yeah. Does not appear to be on this list, how unfortunate. Cinnamon, clove, dandelion, juniper. No, I can't see thyme on this. It will remain a mystery. Hemp. I'm not seeing it. Oh dear. Okay, I'm not seeing hemp on here either. So hemp and thyme appear to be missing from this list. Which is a bit odd that you would include those and then not tell us what to do with them. Especially like, I mean, I already know what to do with like lavender and stuff, but hemp seed is a bit different and less traditional. Again, no price list has been provided. I don't know if I said this in like my last review, but when you get like boxes like this, with the witchy ones, I guess it's not entirely normal to get a price list, but with like the beauty and fashion theme ones, they usually tend to provide a price list if they stipulate that it has a value. So like you know, if you get like FabFitFun or if you get like Glossy Box or any of those, it has like a little cost list in there. And when I've had the Village Witch box before, what was so good about it is that it would tell you that it had this value, and then it would provide a breakdown of where that value was coming from. And if you look back at those reviews, I think that those costs that they give are pretty non-inflated and pretty good. So like if they give you a candle like this, for example, it won't be on there for like £3. It will be on there for like 50p because it's just a little tiny candle. So I think more boxes should do that, especially if they're going to go around claiming that they have, you know, this amount of value of stuff in them. Because, you know, otherwise I can see it maybe being a little bit hard to judge what kind of value you're getting. To recap then, we get the silver plated chain and the pendant, the Let's Conjure pin, the little bag with the incense, herb blend and bath salts inside, the little kit of, how many of these? 5 bags of herbs. Woo, I'm running out of hands already. Then we get the smoke stick and the terracotta pot to put it in, and the 6 red candles. So there we go. Again, like, I'm going to find it really hard to try and cost this box because so much of it is like little things of herbs, and you know, when you buy those in bulk, and then I'd have to like weigh each sachet against like that amount and then divide it. It's just a lot, but there we go. I definitely think this is worth the money that I paid for it, so that's good, because I paid £26.99. That includes delivery. So as to like what I paid for it versus what I think I've got out of it, I think that that's worth the money that I paid for it. That's fine. I don't know how it would arrive at the £45 value. I think the most like valuable thing in this is probably this dish, which is really pretty. I really like this. It's obviously not one of the sort of mass-produced ones that I get in other boxes. Those tend to be made sort of, they're a lot smaller for one thing, and they tend to be made of like a china or a resin that is of low quality and comes from like a gift company. This is very thick, like terracotta. It does seem to have been like hand painted, and it's really quite attractive, quite a good size. So I'm quite happy with that as an item. I don't know where it came from. There's no branding on the box. It would be interesting to know where it had come from. Again, I kind of like knowing like which companies make what, so that if I like something in the box, I can like go and buy others of their stuff. That's what I like about occult boxes. They usually like tell you, or it has like the label left on it, so you go, ah, this comes from Atoll Giftware. So I'd be interested to know where this came from and like what's the story behind it. Like even like the little legs on the bottom, they're like different kind of shapes. They're not all one. So there's like irregularities to it. I'm kind of interested. It's also not like a uniform thickness. I'm curious. I like the little necklace. I like that it's got like a at least silver plated chain, or maybe silver. I don't know if they put 95 on plated things. I don't know anything about jewellery, but it's nice that it has that, even if like the little pendant on it is sort of pretty generic. I like the blue sage stick. I think that's quite a nice thing to have. I like that it's not white sage. Although again, I don't really know anything about blue sage. Is blue sage just garden sage? Because this looks completely different to the sage I have in my garden. Don't know, we'll have to Google and insert a little clip. So I've looked up blue sage, and it has like a herbaceous and floral smell like lavender. So like I said, it has a very, very different smell. So it's not like the same as sage in a lot of ways, but apparently is a close relative of white sage. So there we go. I couldn't find anything about it being as like endangered or like taboo in terms of its harvesting. A lot of websites that I visited said that they'd recently switched all of their products from white sage to blue sage as a way of avoiding using white sage. So it seems like a pretty good alternative. I'm not sure how I feel about the whole like smoke wand thing, like just calling it a smoke wand instead of a smudge stick. I'm not sure how that really like circumvents the whole practice thing. Which website was I on, by the way? This is the Grove and Grotto website. I feel like it's just something that you have to make up your own mind about because everyone has differences of opinion on it. But I'm quite happy to use the blue sage stick and see how I get on with it. As long as it's not sort of, you know, those sort of white sage, Palo Santo type areas. If I find out otherwise, or if you guys already know otherwise and want to like drop me some information, that would be very much appreciated. But from where I'm at now and the brief Googling that I've done, I'm okay with using it personally. I'm again not wild on receiving little pouches of herbs. I think that's good if you're doing it as part of like a kit, or there's a purpose to getting them. But I've just received a bunch of these little baggies and a list that doesn't even tell me what all of them do. And also there's not like a huge amount in here. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I did get quite a good variety of things in there, and I do think I will use most, if not all, of this stuff. Like herbs are always nice to have. I like the little dish. I like the necklace. Little candles are useful. I just feel like, again, I'm questioning if it has the value that it says that it has. And it's hard for me to know that if no information is provided. I think my kind of feeling on it is that if your box is just saying, it's worth what you have paid for it, they don't necessarily have to provide that information, because you can kind of look at the stuff in it and go, that's worth what I paid for it. But I think if they're claiming that it has a higher value, I would like to see some sort of information about where that value is meant to be coming from, and where these items have been sourced. Particularly this dish, which is just a mystery, like wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a myth. Completely without origins, and I'm obsessed with it. It's just very cute. And what do I use it for? Is it just to put this in, or can I burn incense in here? What? I would appreciate some more like information, directions, safety information of what I can use this for. But I'm not like mad about the contents of the box. I could definitely see myself getting this one again. I literally, I couldn't find this on the Culverstone Witch website, which I checked. So I literally just typed in Terracotta, Triquetra, Smudge Bowl, and pictures of this started showing up. According to the description, this item is handmade. So I was kind of correct in thinking that it had been obviously hand painted, and the like change in thickness in it like indicated that it had been handmade. And it's listed at a price of $16.99. I think like the price varies, but it seems to be sort of around £15-16. So that's like obviously where a big chunk of the value of that box is coming from. But I'm quite happy that it's not like, if I'd have found this and it was like £4-5, I would have been pissed. So that's pretty cool. That that's where that value is coming from. It also doesn't include the like stick with it when you get it. So that's just for the bowl, which is identical to the one that I got. So There we are. I'm going to go look up a few things like the blue sage stick and come back. So this one looks most like the one that I got, if slightly more raggedy. It's like the same-ish length, the same kind of cord on it. $4.99, so that's the amount that I'm going to put down. And this is on, what website is this? UK Healing Crystals. So I'm going to put that down as $4.99. Here we have the Let's Conjure pin. This is, I think, something you can buy in lots of different shops. It's obviously something that's like bought from a wholesaler and then sold. So you've got $3.37, $2.99 from Attitude Clothing, $3.75, $3.79, £4. I feel like $3.75 is sort of more in the middle because it kind of gets more or less expensive. So I'm just going to call that $3.75. I'm going to go with the like this brand of spell candle again because it's one that I have bought previously. This is on Incense. You can get these on eBay around the same price, but I'm just going to put down $4.20 for the candles. Obviously that's going to be divided by 2 because we get 12 in that pack, so it's going to be more $2.10 for the 6 that we got in the box. So I've had some difficulty trying to track down a pendant, but I think this is reasonably similar. I googled to see if 925 stamped like on the clasp as this is meant that it was silver plated, and the consensus of what I've seen online is that it means that it is made of silver. It's not like another metal that's been plated in silver, it is silver. 925 does not appear on the actual pendant, so I think this part is like a base metal, like or a steel, something like that. Because it is slightly different in terms of colour to the chain, but the chain is silver. So I've come to this website. This website is Etsy, and found that these are selling for £21.81. That's in silver, like with the silver chain on it. So there's that. If you go to like listings where it's not silver, which is the one that I was on previously, I think it's the same seller. As you can see, the chain is like much thicker. It's only £10.90, so that's a pretty big change in value just because it now has obviously the silver chain on it. So I'm going to put it down as being £21.81. Just because that matches what the necklace is stamped as. So put that down as £21.81. So that we can now see that it's starting to match like the promised value of the box. Just because I wasn't sure if this was plated or not, but apparently it is not. So there we go, and we're on to the last couple of items. Really helpfully and saving me a lot of adding and subtracting and dividing with like wholesale herb prices, the Culverstone Witch website sells individual sachets of herbs, which are obviously the same as the ones that we got in the box. So you can see here that they're down as £1.79. I don't know if that changes if I click like a different herb. It does not. So they're £1.79 each, and I got 5 of them. So I'll just do £5, not £5, 5 times £1.79 for the herbs. That seems like a fair price for me. I mean, I buy single bags of herbs on eBay for like different spell work all the time, and they're usually like slightly over £2 for like double the amount. So it seems like not artificially inflated, to me at least. And now we're on to the last things, which are the herb mix and incense. Similar to the herbs, they also sell their loose incense. As you can see, I've selected Peace and Serenity, which is the one that we got in the box, and the price comes out at $2.99, which makes sense because it's obviously a blend of different herbs and not just like one herb altogether. And I think they are slightly bigger than the herb sachets, or just like have resin and stuff in them. So there we go. That's $2.99 for the incense. If I can't find a separate price for the herb blend, I'm just going to treat that as another incense and put that down as $2.99 as well. Didn't have to. They already have herb blends listed A to F. I don't know if there's like another section because this is the only one I found, but the one I received is for balance, and as you can see, these are put down as $2.98, so a penny less than the incense, which is weird, but we're just gonna write that down and move along. Now, I don't think I could find the bath salts separately, but you can find them as part of the Spell Kit bath bag, which includes the bath salt sachet, votive candle, amethyst crystal, pentagram, spell, and full instructions for £4.49. So clearly the actual salt part, you know, isn't hugely expensive because it comes with a lot of other stuff, and it's still a very low price. Let me just see if I can go back and find it individually. No, I don't think so, and I would like to think that they would show up sooner in a search specifically for bath salt. So I'm just going to say divide the cost of that original bath kit by 4, just to take into account all of the other stuff that was also in there. Maybe I should divide it in half. Hang on, let's see what other stuff was also in there. It was all going so well. I was finding such specific answers for things. Okay, so these contain candle, crystal, pentagram, spell, full instructions for £4.49. I'm going to say £2.49 for the salts because that's sort of similar to the herbs. They were sort of £2 something, and then the rest can make up the rest of that value. So we'll say £2.49 as a rough estimate for the salt. And that's everything, so let's get adding. So if we add all that stuff up, it comes to the £45.24 value. The box itself says that it's worth about £45 at least, so I think we're pretty much there within a margin of error. I think it's mostly the necklace that bumps that up so high, because that's like, you know, like half the value. But, you know, I can definitely see how that would be worthwhile if, you know, you're taking into account that it has a solid silver chain. I think when I was sort of thinking about my value of it, I was under the impression that it was like plated, and according to the internet, it's not, if it has 925 on it. So there we go, that's the value. A lot of those prices obviously come from the Culverstone Witch website, but they are sort of in line with what I would expect to pay for those kinds of blends elsewhere. Like when I've ordered from Phoenix Flames and things like that, their incense has been similarly priced. And obviously you've got like the little sachets of herbs. I did, when I was trying to cost out the last box I got, the Honey and the Moon box, go to their website, and I just couldn't find a lot of the items in the box on their website. So that's why so many of my prices were from different sources. I think for all of these ones, everything that didn't directly have the Culverstone Witch label on it was something that I costed from a different source on the net. But I'm happy that this says that it has that value. If it has that value, like numerically speaking, I'm not sure I would pay this amount of money for those items, but I would definitely pay the amount for those items minus the necklace. Just because for me, I don't really put a lot of value on just that necklace as being like £21. So that I would maybe quibble over. Maybe I could find that necklace cheaper elsewhere, like on eBay or somewhere, but I'm at least happy that they've claimed that it has that value, and mathematically it does, even if I personally don't value the contents at that. There's at least, you know, evidence. I would really like encourage them to like put a costing sheet in there so that people can just see how much these items cost and like where they've come from, because that's something that I always like having in a box when I open it up and I'm like, oh okay, I don't have to go and do any of this myself. So it's mainly me being lazy, but that has been my review of the Culverstone Witch box, and that has been my laundry that I need to fold up and put away. So let me know what you thought of it, if you like the contents of this box, if you think you would pay that amount of money for it, you know, like what's your feeling on it? Would you want me to get this box again? Because I can see myself definitely ordering this next month if the occult box isn't witchy like I think it's going to be. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!